Welcome back to the Rule of Six podcast. Today we have Josh Cole Brown, a friend of ours from high school and an avid cyclist.
This is the Rule of Six podcast.
So Josh, what are you doing with this year? What are you doing this year? Are you at uni? Are you drop out? What are you doing?
Yes, I'm in my first year at Guildhall Drama School, studying production arts.
What do you do? What subject is? Are you just doing drama in there, or are you doing something else?
Far from drama. I'm not an actor. I'm studying production arts, so backstage, everything.
Yeah, he's the techie guy.
Oh yeah, I remember back in high school, you used to do the tech team a lot. You always used to be there.
Yeah, I was a nerd.
Yeah, he's the light operator.
Yeah, I'm a lighting designer.
So, Josh, what's your opinion on abortion?
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
You don't have to answer that.
No, you do. You have no choice. It's cool.
We like to keep you on your toes.
I've been put on the spot there. Whatever I say is going to be controversial, so I'm just not going to say anything.
Okay, let's give you a theoretical. Say you got your girlfriend pregnant. What would you do?
You know what? That's her choice.
Good response. Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
That's a good, good save.
Speaking about girlfriends, how's it going with the girls in Guildhall?
Huh? What's that? Huh?
How's it going with the girls in Guildhall? Do you have any girlfriends?
Nah, not at this moment in time.
Wives?
Hey,
Saf doesn't understand. He doesn't really understand how it all works. So he's, you have to.
Listen, back home you can have as many wives as you want. So,
well, drama school's a bit different. There's rules. There's
you're not allowed to date the co-workers.
Explain the rules.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
You're not allowed to date until you're in third year. But
what?
But if you're on a 4-year course, then you're not allowed to date until fourth year. I'm on a 3rd-year course, but most of the girls are on a 4-year course. So
is this the excuse girls tell you so they don't have to date you, or is this actual rules?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's the rules. I can't. I'm sorry.
You just go up to a guy yo, you want to go out for a date? No, there are rules, man. There are rules. Come back in 2 years.
Those are the actual rules, and I'm not the one that makes those excuses. It's the girls.
Oh wow!
Oh, yeah.
Is that what they will tell you?
I feel like we heard that one. Yeah. That's a shame.
Oh, it must be super calm to be. So is you and Jamie are doing different courses?
No,
right?
we're on the same course. The exact same course.
That much for context. Jamie is a high school friend of ours. That must be super cool to go be at the same uni as him, right? Because you guys were quite close in Twyford as well, weren't you? You're not.
It's a podcast.
This is the greatest time to
I don't know who's going to be listening to this. Yeah, we get on. I guess.
Oh, you can. You can
give us the
drama.
beef. Give us the beef. So why did you hate Jamie?
Whoa.
Is it because he's gay? Is that why? Is that what it was? He's gay.
Oh my god, Sam.
Josh, you're the most accepting person I know.
I am. There's no beef.
Yeah.
Friends just go in different directions. I guess.
Just don't like him.
Understandable.
Uni, we're all growing up.
But you live across from each other
we'll
as well.
take that answer for now.
Don't you live across from each other as well?
We live in the same accommodation, but no, not across.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys were flat-wise, were across from each other.
No, I mean our flats are a bit of a mess.
So what is, because you went to Brit school, so what do you do in uni that's different from what you did in high school, in terms of lighting and technician and all that stuff?
It's a higher level, I guess. High school was kind of just a bit of a hobby, just to pass the time and to try to kind of get out of lessons and get out of computer time. Yeah, being on the tech team was kind of my escape. I guess most people would join the football team or something, but I wasn't that interested in that stuff. So the tech team was my escape in high school. But now for uni, I'm looking at it as a career option, in particular lighting.
Quite cool.
Yeah.
So down the line, what are you looking to get from your course at Guildhall? What are you potentially thinking of doing afterwards?
In terms of being at drama school, studying what I'm studying, yes, I'm looking to get the kind of professional experience, working in the theatre, working in kind of entertainment industry, behind the scenes, and it will really set me up for any kind of work within creative field.
What's your favorite side of the entertainment industry? Is it music? Is it theatre? Is it films? Or is it
the mix between theatre and film?
No, Saf, we're not doing porn. No, Josh isn't going to get. He's not going to be the lighting guy. No.
That's the only one Saf knows.
I thought I heard.
There must be need for it,
I thought I heard that.
You could be real good. It's a niche.
I knew I heard you say that. I just really quietly in my earphone I heard it.
He just wants to block it out. Saf was very quiet.
Yeah, never doubt
He
Saf.
was kind of like make it go under the radar.
Yeah.
Oh, was that? No, I was saying it quite loudly. Maybe my mic's not close enough to me.
No, I'm a professional.
What side of the entertainment industry?
Film and theatre. I think I want to start off in theatre because it's fun, working on shows on stage. But then in film, there's bigger budgets, more money for the crew, and I'm interested in becoming a director of photography. I can kind of put my theatre.
What's some lighting and design in some films that you just go look at it and go, wow? Because I think me and Ben could probably just say Blade Runner off the bat. So the lighting in Blade Runner is spectacular. I mean, you can't really, when you look at it visually, nothing is wrong, in my opinion. There may be some people out there who nitpick it, but I mean, what do you think about? Which is your favorite?
I'm into photography. I really like photography. So the movie The Revenant. I did a bit of research on the. I love the movie. Lots of people in film say it's really bad because it has a pretty rubbish storyline, but I disagree with that. I love The Revenant. And the director of photography, Emmanuel, I can't pronounce his surname, but he's a great DOP, and he did a pretty cool job. I love kind of nature photography, so the fact that he kind of purely focused on using natural light for most of the scenes, and then only used a little bit of artificial light, I found that really cool. The film The Revenant,
because you can tell when it's you can tell when the lighting is fake and when it's not. Like,
just some really cool images in that film. Yeah, so The Revenant definitely stands out for me as one of my favourite pieces of work.
What about in theatre? Do you have any? Because I mean, I wouldn't, because you have musicals. They're not really known for their lighting and design. But what sort of theatre plays would you say, when you look at them and visually, they're just visually pleasing?
Everything I've seen in West End. Warhorse did very well. Paulie Constable is the lighting designer behind Warhorse and Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. She's a really successful designer. She's won lots of awards for her lighting designs. And yeah, Warhorse is just awesome. I'm sure have you guys seen Warhorse?
I've seen the film. I haven't seen the.
I've read the book, but I haven't.
Yeah, I have actually.
Do you have like a story about Sophia? This is going to be like a regular thing when we have people on. Do you have a story about Sophia? When you think of it, you just go, "What an idiot!" Or is it a nice story?
Why is it always me? No, because all the stories about me are what an idiot. None of them are like, oh, what a nice story about Sam. Remember that time he gave to the homeless? Like, there are no stories of me like that. They're all stories about me being a fucking idiot.
Or Saf.
What's a story of Zach that you have? You probably have better stories about Zach.
I was the one who asked first. You can't just go like that. I was the one who asked first.
I did an Uno reverse card.
I don't know. You should have made me think about it.
Way to put him on the spot.
I don't know. Twyford was just funny. I've got to put it behind me. Actually, Saf.
We had a few funny moments.
I've deleted Snapchat now because I'm not using it. But I think I remember seeing on Memories something of me and you in D Block. It must have been like a non-school uniform day, and obviously we were like
I know what you took.
It was we were year 11 or something, so weren't allowed to have phones, but we still did. Yeah, you filming me like jumping on the tables, and I'm pretty sure you were jumping on the tables with me.
Jokes. Yeah, we were like jumping because there were all these tables. We were like jumping on them like islands. That was so fun. Yeah. I think it was a day that we had like it was on like because maybe it was a non-uniform day. Maybe it was one of those like open evening days.
Yes, I feel like it was one of those. But yeah, because Twyford was so prison-like.
Yeah.
I feel like every chance we had to just be stupid, we take it. Like
was
I
so
used to
fun.
just like purposely be late to lessons because I decided to.
No, I loved you in geography. You were a lot of fun.
Mr.
in
Fry.
geography as
Okay,
well.
this is going to be.
Yeah, Mr. Fry.
I'm going to catch all of you out. We were all
Man.
stupid in his lessons because it was just fun.
Man.
That is true. I remember a time where Saf brought in toast making.
Oh my god, yeah.
School. That was so weird when you did that because I was so
Oh my
surprised.
god.
I was like, you were just in the IT room just cooking up some toasties. You brought like some ham, you brought cheese, and you brought like a loaf of bread. And I was like, this dude's crazy. Why is he doing this?
It was the way it was.
Yeah.
It was the way he smuggled it into the school, and
I
like
mean, it
we must have
worked,
we were
like,
outside
I
the
don't
front,
know.
and you came up to us with your bag, opened it, and we're like, "Well, guys, look what I brought in.
Yeah.
Look what I smuggled into school, toasty maker."
Yeah.
You did it. You brought it in like your sports bag.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was that was
Like, it
one
was-
of the best ideas ever, but it was so silly
you-
at the same
Bro,
time.
if I had like properly tried to market it, I could have made
Yeah.
E from
Didn't
it.
you try to charge people for toasties?
Yeah, I was like 50p for like a sandwich. But the thing is, I was so paranoid because I'd have to
We
be
were
in like
talking
M
about
block.
it, yeah. I
And I'm pretty
remember.
sure because like remember when we used to like hang out in the M block
M block.
corridor, right? And I was like, oh, people need to like look out. I needed people to look
Yeah.
look out while I was doing it in the classroom. Because I was just doing it in a computer classroom, just chilling in the big corner, making a toasty. Oh, I can't believe
Yeah,
it did cool.
On
Honestly,
the
I got
computer
so
computer classrooms, the one classrooms with cameras.
with the CCTV. Yeah, I know, and no one like was like, "Oh, this is a bit weird."
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I got away with it.
To
So.
see some kid making toasties on the floor.
Thankfully, you did though, because imagine a teacher coming
It was
into
a
the room and
success.
you're just there, just cooking
Yeah.
up toasties, and you just have to sit there and eat an absolute plum because you're just cooking up some food.
Yeah, it,
What would you even do if you're a teacher? What is your reaction
They're
when you
making-
see this
they're
kid?
That's the
making
thing. That was
Do you
what
tell them
my
off?
head was
'Cause, like,
going.
are they
That's
breaking
not-
the
They're
rules?
making
Like,
lunch.
yeah.
Food.
Listen, they can heat up their lunch in the
Yeah,
staff
he's-
break room.
he's
I
just
don't
cooking
have
up
one.
lunch,
I
you
was
know?
just trying to make myself some warm food. Is that much of a crime?
Yeah, it is.
I feel like if it was like someone, if it was like a safe
True,
teacher,
true.
they'd just find it super funny. But if it was someone like Mr. Barrett or like, who was it, like Miss Frank or whatever, oh, they would have gone in on me. They'd be like, oh, that's a safety hazard.
Dropping
You could have killed
names.
yourself
Yeah.
making toasties and the thing. And oh my god. Like, it would have been a whole fucking ordeal.
Boy burns down school building trying to make toasties in classroom. That's the headlines.
If that did happen, like if anyone,
that.
yeah, I was gonna say, if that's anyone, that's
Yeah.
me. It just would be.
Well, with Guildhall, Josh, have you done anything crazy at Guildhall? I mean, I see you all the time cycling around central London. But this is like pre-lockdown or whatever. I see you all the time cycling around central London. I mean, do you have
That's
any
cool.
like crazy stories from Guildhall, like from either going into a motive or just going around Guildhall?
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, first term's been pretty great. Yeah, drama school's just cool. I knew it was the right kind of move for me. I guess coming from Brit, yeah, drama school's kind of where I'm at anyway. But in terms of crazy stuff, yeah, it's been a fair. I mean, being with all the performers, musicians, and actors in the same place, there are some crazy nights. And in the student accommodation, because Guildhall's a really, really small school. All of the courses are quite small. So in terms of the accommodation, everyone's kind of crammed into the same kind of one block. Yeah, there's been a fair few big nights. For me, I'm known as a cyclist now because I'm always out on my bike, or you know, everyone sees me going out. People just know when they see me getting on my bike, unlocking it. They all hold the gate open for me. They know I'm going out on a bike ride.
Oh, that's nice.
In the first couple of weeks, me and my flatmate Ollie, I'm in my house, so I'm hoping that no one can hear it. There were a fair few kind of, I'm going to start talking quieter. There were a fair few.
Sounds whispering.
All right.
We
So
got really
Guildhall
fucked up that guy.
is in the it's in the city of London, so right in the centre, like 10 minutes away from like St Paul's, and then London Eye's just down the river. So in the first few weeks, there were a fair few drunk bike rides. Before I got my bike down there, we had
Drunk bike rides do not
yeah,
sound
I know,
good.
craziness.
Just
I
say
know
it.
exactly.
Yeah, Sav can vouch for that.
It happened anyway. That was fun.
From personal experiences, not
Yeah.
the vibe.
Renting Santander bikes and just going into London at crazy hours in the morning.
That's just fun. That just
That is
sounds
pretty
like
cool.
a lot
That
of
sounds
fun.
so
Yeah.
cool.
It's great.
I mean, because you have like
Yeah.
just everything nearby to go
Yeah,
cycling.
it's great. Just go out whenever I want. Not really any crazy stories that come to mind. Every night's kind of just crazy, but it's in its own right.
Fair enough.
You guys must have more interesting, crazy stories from your uni days.
Honestly, we don't have crazy stories. We just have interesting stories. But UEA has not been like that crazy. I think just this campus security we have is really strict. How is that?
Our security.
How's it been for you? Is security strict with you?
That's fine with me. We have, I guess we have two South American guys. We have a guy called Carlos, and he's great. He's amazing. He's kind of he's the campus joke, like joke man. He's just funny. I think you have to come and see it to believe. Zach and Ben, you might have met him once. I think
We've been like.
Do you remember
twice.
Carlos?
It's good fun.
Okay,
I
this
don't know who
Christmas.
that is, but it's-
Next time you see him, you'll know him. This Christmas, we put a Christmas tree in our
Yeah.
courtyard, and someone decided to print out his face and put it on top. Again, you need to see it to believe it. I haven't got any pictures.
Yeah, because I mean, when we went, I really liked your accommodation because like you had that like
Because
central area,
of lockdown,
everyone was kind of overlooking.
I have
it.
to come.
We're not
and see
allowed
this.
to
It felt
hang
a
out
bit
there
more
though
like-
because of lockdown.
Yeah, like more.
Oh yeah, but when lockdown's over, you'll be allowed to hang
Yeah.
out in the courtyard, right?
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, that was the same.
In probably the second lockdown, there were lots of evenings where we'd be sitting out there, and then security would come, and there's the other security guy is African, really strong accent, and he just constantly threatening to call the police. And this one night,
Oh shit!
he actually did, and two police officers come talk to us, tell us we're not meant to be there. We want to go inside. All these things you just have to see it to believe it. You have to know the security guy to know that when he's threatening, no one thinks it's going to happen, and then it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't.
But then the second time he called them, these two really young police officers came, and you guys know me well. You know that I like to just be funny and what's the word? I like to.
Take the piss?
No, it's not taking the piss. So I'm confident enough to just be really down to earth.
Just see like the funny side of everything.
And so when they were outside the gate, I went up to them when they were in their car, started talking to them, and I asked them a genuine question. I asked them, "What's it like doing your job?" And then he was like, the young guy was like, "Do you mind if I get out and talk to you?" So he got out of the car and started talking to me.
Like threatening?
No, in a nice way, and we had a great conversation.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm thinking about, I said I'm thinking of joining City of London Police. He was Met Police.
Really?
He was like, oh, okay, why them? And then half an hour later, I'm still out there talking to him, and everyone else comes out of the courtyard and gathers around me. We're all like 30 of us students during COVID times, during lockdown, 30 students out there talking to the police guys.
I mean, Ben, you've had your run with the police, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. So I mean, there's.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
to be honest, for them, like they're just
I guess
it's
being
just stuff they gotta
students,
do now.
we kind
like
of
breaking up parties and stuff, and I don't, you can tell they don't want to be there. Yeah, and everyone's like, no
They don't
one
wanna
wants
break
to
up
do
stuff
it.
'cause
Like
they
no
know
one
we're
wants to,
living.
have to. Like, the police don't want to have to.
See,
break
that's
up
interesting
parties,
because
but they
we
really have
instead,
to.
well, like when we had security come to, it was campus security. It wasn't the police.
the one thing I've realized worked out on being a student, and the one important thing, Domino's closes at 12. Delivery, they close at 12.
That's horrible.
So they don't. They used to deliver till
Not
4
anymore.
a.m.
Oh,
That's
really?
like 2 or 3.
Maybe it's because of Corona. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, but it's because of Corona. Like everywhere closes
Exactly.
early now.
Well, that's stupid because more people are going to be at home wanting deliveries.
I've never actually wanted Domino's
It makes
before
no
12.
sense. I know. Like it's just so dumb.
It's always after 12 that I get
I mean,
cravings.
fair enough. Domino's is, bro, that's such a sick meal when you're like after a motive or
Yeah,
after
true,
a party,
true.
and you're all chilling with your mates. Like, oh, let's order some Domino's. That's just a vibe. It is. It's overpriced.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
The
like
only
Domino's
thing,
that much. It's not
bro,
worth it.
Domino's is so
Like,
expensive though.
Domino's in Norwich is so
Like-
dead.
It's so bad.
London.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
So dead. The cheese is different. The
Bro,
tomato sauce
wait,
is
wait.
different.
Everything in Norwich is just worse than it is in London. Next year, are you planning on? Do you live in dorms again, or do you have to get an apartment or something?
If I want to, I can stay in the dorms, but I'm sick of security always being down your neck. The rent is too much for where I'm staying for what it is. We've worked out a lot of problems. In fact, last week we all signed a letter to our principal and to the Lord Mayor of the City of London, complaining about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of problems with it because it's really old accommodation. You're not allowed things like fairy lights. It's the City of London, so they've got their own private laws about lights and electricity. Constant fire alarms. How many fire alarms have you guys had at your accommodation?
We have like one or
Not
we.
Really?
that many.
Oh, I've had a lot.
We have
There's the most in, like.
fire alarm tests at the start of every week, pretty much.
Not once in mine.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have something like that as well. But we don't have to leave unless, like, so the fire alarm goes off,
Wow,
but then it
nice.
stops quite immediately, and we don't have to actually leave. We have to leave when
We
the fire
have to
alarm
leave.
goes off.
I mean, if I'm
that's
honest,
a
the last
mistake.
couple of ones I've just grabbed my jacket and gone round to the shop because we don't get registered. We just go outside and then come back in, and we get told to go back in. Annoying. There's a lot of weird
Yeah.
rules and problems that we have. So I definitely want my independence, my own flat with a couple of mates. I'm looking for
Where would your flat be?
somewhere nearby. So either possibly Islington. Again, it's finding the right rent, but also not going into the dodgy London boroughs. So there's parts of it.
Yeah, so where are you now?
At the moment, I'm literally Guildhall, Barbican, where it's really quiet, really safe. As soon as you go across the road, you've got Islington, which is a bit sketchy. I've got a couple of mates that live around there where they live in the safer parts, but there's also parts where students are going to be looking for flats that are a little bit more sketchy. So kind of got to decide really carefully where to stay. It's like Islington, I go a bit further, Camden, kind of those kind of areas. Yeah, so it's decisions to be made.
Which is everyone's favourite place in London to go?
Chelsea
Ben,
and
what's your
Kensington.
favourite?
Nice
And
bridge.
then, Josh, what's your favourite? And then Sam.
Not London, then. Anywhere outside.
Really? You don't like London that much? That's so ironic.
Why don't you like London, Josh? And why did you choose to stay in London if you don't like it?
Yeah, exactly. I want to explore and like travel, and then I had the choice
Fair
to go
enough.
to Wales, study in Cardiff, and right by the country.
I mean, Wales doesn't exactly sound like so much of an adventure, I'm not going to
It
lie.
is what.
Really?
Got the national parks in the areas of national
Yeah, like
beauty. Loads of stuff to do for me.
I feel like the
You have
novelty
the
wears
Surrey
off,
Hills
you know?
and the Surrey National. Is it Surrey National Park?
Sorry,
yeah.
in Wales.
Yeah,
But sorry.
if you have a
No.
car.
What?
No,
Sorry is in
No,
London.
not
like
in
next to
Wales.
London.
South of
this
London.
is what I miss.
sir.
You guys cutting each other off.
Just arguing about every
what's it-
little
yeah, I
thing.
Arguing
can't
for
remember.
nothing.
Bro, do you know how many you know there's like New York has, I mean, America has like everything. They've just copied England with all the names, like everything.
Yeah, what Soho in Manhattan?
Yeah, there's a Soho in America. What the fuck? Who
Well,
knew?
Mate, there's a
Who
New
colonised
England.
by European countries.
There's a New England.
Yeah, I don't understand. What is New England? I've heard about
Yeah,
it.
there's a Birmingham,
There's a
Alabama.
Birmingham in America.
Okay,
There's-
Birmingham
yeah.
and
Wait.
Alabama are actually comparable. That's fucking
There's a
jokes.
Newcastle.
That
Yeah,
is
and
so
they still call
fucking
it
jokes.
Birmingham.
There's a
not
Newcastle.
There's a Newcastle in America. So what? If,
Is
Wow.
there?
so if I'm in like America, and I'm like, yo,
There's a
I'm
town,
with
I
my
think,
friends from Newcastle.
There's everywhere.
That's so weird.
The town, I
Sorry?
think.
There's an Ealing, I swear.
Newcastle
nice.
State. Yeah, there's a lot of copied stuff.
Why can't they think of
Yeah,
their
like
own
little
names?
towns.
Are they so unoriginal?
Oh, they do. Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Albuquerque, Albuquerque, Albuquerque.
Quirky. Albuquerque, bro.
New Mexico.
So Albuquerque.
Yeah, literally, I didn't know.
I haven't watched Breaking Bad.
Oh my god, you're missing out, bro.
Everyone
You
here
need to
has
watch it.
Breaking
You need to
Bad.
watch
That's-
it.
No,
that's how we know that.
No, because all I'm hearing about it now is if I start it now, it will take ages to get through
What?
it, so I can't be bothered.
I got
on
through
that.
it so quickly. I got through
Oh,
it in like
yeah.
a month.
Apparently, the start's really slow or something.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It doesn't take
maybe.
that
I like the
long.
whole
It's just-
pacing of it was quite slow, actually.
All of these series, though, I'm thinking,
Can you be bothered? Well, this is the stuff you should do in lockdown. Like, just if there's ever a time, like now is that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you have
Well-
nothing to do, it's best.
I'm saving them for when and if I get in a relationship, then
Oh,
slow
big
series
but.
to watch.
Oh God, you think a girl's gonna watch Breaking Bad with you?
What happens? What happens if she's seen it?
You can watch Breaking
Then
Bad.
she watches it again.
I don't know, man. I don't know if she's gonna do that for you.
Yeah, it's actually. It's like, I don't want to watch Breaking Bad. Everyone's watched Breaking Bad.
She's the right one, then
Oh.
yeah, she won't
Why
mind.
can't you watch it again?
Fair enough.
Shocking. Is that what you're basing it
like
off? You're like, if she wants to watch Breaking Bad
That's
with me,
like
then she's
that's the
cool.
first question, you know.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, at least standards are standards.
You know,
At least
it
he
goes
has
in this
some
order.
kind of
Do
standard.
you like black people? Will you watch the whole of Breaking Bad with me?
Yeah, very comparable terms, you know.
How many questions do you have?
There's a bit of a list.
It's like a list of questions.
Why do I feel like you're pulling up your phone right now and you're about to have
Can you
like,
imagine he's on a
your
date
notes?
and he just pulls up his phone? He's like,
Nah,
"Give me a second. I got some questions to ask you," and he just lists them all off.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
that's where I
getting his
bring the
list.
notepad.
Oh, of
No.
course. Do you interrogate the girl on your
God.
first date?
It's such a. It's an A4.
He's gone silent,
Bro,
boys.
you know
This
what?
man
Josh,
is an
Josh gives
interrogationist.
me like funny policeman vibes. Do you know what I mean? He gives me that. Like I can totally see him as a policeman, like a bicycle policeman. You know those policemen who ride around. You know those policemen who run around on their bicycles. I can totally see him as
A
one.
bicycle policeman? Oh my god.
Oh
The
no!
local copper.
Josh is just greasy.
Now we're gonna go to the sports interview with Zach and Josh. So me and Saf aren't there, talking rubbish.
Oh no! I need to go and get my Ethernet.
Deportes.
Hey guys, welcome to the Deportes segment of the Rule of Six podcast. I'm Zach, and today I have Josh Cole Brown, aspiring cyclist, potential entrepreneur, travel wannabe. I mean, this man wants to do it all. So, Josh, how's lockdown been treating you?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, lockdown's been all right for me. Just kind of taking it a day at a time and trying to do the things that I love. Yeah, to keep me healthy and active and enjoying stuff.
I mean, yeah, aren't we all? Everyone's just trying to keep sane, try and find things to do, some hobbies, some things to pass the time. But I mean, what do you think in terms of cycling? Actually, no. Let's not get into the proper questions. What sort of thing have you been doing in lockdown to stay healthy and sane? And
Well, this is lockdown 3 now. So I'm currently at home rather than over at my uni campus. So I'm at home with my family. So kind of just getting outside, going for walks, enjoying nature to kind of keep myself sane. Because otherwise, I spend hours indoors doing my online lectures and classes and things. So yeah, getting outside is kind of an escape from lockdown, and yeah, spending time with the family.
what? Yeah, that pretty much just sums it up for anybody who's not at university. But I mean, it is kind of just looking like a interesting way to start 2021, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, spending time just glued to the screen. That's pretty much what uni is at the moment. Online university, studying.
How would you say me and you first met? When did we first meet?
When did we meet? We went to high school together, didn't we? I guess we met
Mm-hmm.
start of year 7. What year was that? 2011,
I can't
2012?
remember.
I think it was 2012.
Something like
Started twice.
yeah. I think it was the bus 207 bus, wasn't
We met on the bus, yeah.
it?
Bus buddies.
Oh god, that was
Yeah.
a great time. And
Yeah.
then after that, we started doing football together. Would you say that that was the first proper sport that you started doing weekly, week in and week out?
Probably the most dedicated I've been with football. I had played for a team before. We both played for Brentford. I had played for South Feeling Saints a couple of years before. But yeah, starting to play again with you was when I really got serious into football. I wouldn't say I was ever madly serious for football. I enjoyed playing it and I enjoyed being part of the team. But I knew deep down that it just wasn't the sport for me. I don't know if
Because I remember you being the lanky goalkeeper who used to
yeah,
throw it with the wrong arm, which I found out many years later that you were throwing it with the wrong arm. Some great goal kicks, went past the halfway line, which was insane. But so, what is your sport of choice at the minute? Then, what was the sport which drew you away from football?
Cycling, of course, road cycling in particular. Yeah, but endurance sport in general. Find it more interesting slightly than football. So that's kind of why it drew me away from football. Being able to kind of, I guess football didn't really do it for me. I mean, it's great to win games, but for me, cycling just it gives me something to do for longer. I guess 90
Yeah.
minutes wasn't enough for me. Pushing for a bit longer in a sport I find really fun. So yeah, cycling is kind of what I'm really into now.
Who first introduced you into cycling? Would you say YouTube videos got you into it, or was it just the lack of stamina being used in football? Would you say what was the first time that you really got into cycling?
Well, 2020 lockdown for April, I bought myself a bike for my birthday, and that was kind of my first time I'd owned my own road bike. But I knew that cycling was a sport, but I'd known that for years before. I think 2012 Olympics, when the cycling came to London for the road race, I was watching all the professionals, and I really enjoyed that, and that was really where I got into it. So I'd say the Olympics kind of made me think, oh, that's a sport that I could get involved with. But it wasn't actually until 2020 that I kind of got into it myself. So I'd been watching it on TV and stuff, watching the races, following it all, but wasn't until 2020 that I properly got myself into it.
Who was your favourite cyclist in 2012 then?
2012. Well, Bradley Wiggins, he won the Olympic road race, and coming from London, he's an idol of mine, of course. But I don't know if you heard of Chris Froome, professional
Yeah, of course I've
cyclist.
heard of
Of course you have.
Chris Froome.
Silly
Of
question
course
that was. Yeah.
I
So
have.
he was also at the 2012 Olympics. So I remember watching him, and obviously him and Bradley, same team, both British riders. Um, but Chris Froome's always been a name that's stuck out for me, especially as he's won the Tour de France like quite a few times. Can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, those kind of two big names have always stuck for me as idols.
What would you say your favorite cycling competition to watch is? Would it be the Olympics, or would it be something like the Tour de France? Or is there possibly a niche cycling competition that you watch which not many people know about?
Ah, see what you're doing there. Great question, leading question. So Tour de France is of course the big name. I think most people know what the Tour de France is, and every year when it comes around, I always watch it and like I try to follow it for the whole 21 stages of it. But I'm actually more interested in something a bit different. It's called cyclocross, and it's Tour de France is kind of on road. Cyclocross is more off road cycling, very technical. Anyone listening, if you haven't heard of cyclocross, I recommend you look it up. So yeah, I've recently gotten into cyclocross a lot more, and I've been watching the races and stuff. And it's a bit more of a winter sport, because of the kind of muddy terrain, often snowy. But it's just great seeing all these professional riders. It's like a mix between road cycling and mountain biking. So it's just really cool to watch. Really fast paced action. Um, and yeah, it's endurance, but it's also kind of like a mentality thing. It's just crazy how they just throw themselves on and off the bikes in these races. So yeah, cyclocross is kind of what I'm really into at the
You
moment.
sent me a couple of the videos, and I was a bit
Yeah,
like, I don't know how these guys are doing it in the conditions that they are. It looks so tough on the calves and just legs in general. I mean, is that sort of cycling potentially something you'd want to do in the future, either for a competition based, or would you just do it out of pure love for the sport?
definitely. I mean, it's wild to watch, and I definitely want to try it myself. I'm actually in the process of looking for and saving up for a cyclocross bike myself. So yeah, I definitely want to get involved with it. Um, and I'm looking to start racing within the British cycling categories, hopefully in the near future. And I feel like cyclocross is where I want to begin my journey with racing, just because it's technical, but it's also I feel like I might be suited towards that if I get my bike handling skills on point. So yeah, cyclocross is definitely what I want to try.
Would you potentially move into road cycling and give that a go? And also, if there was an opportunity for you to maybe complete the Tour de France, not within the competition, but just complete the track that they do, and just complete the same sort of trials that they do within each day. Would you do something like that in the future?
In terms of Tour de France, I mean, I just have to see um how my body goes with training and you know getting used to doing shorter races first. You know, Tour de France is 21 stages.
Yeah.
Most days around 200 kilometers distance being raced in like 6 hours. So I need to work up to that. You know, my longest ride to date is London to Brighton, and that was a day, and that was mad.
Speaking of London to Brighton, where would you say is some of like the great places to cycle in London or around London? Like you said, you have done the London to Brighton, which would you say it's one of the best cycle rides that you've done so far?
Yeah, definitely. I guess cycling is all about kind of getting out there and exploring and enjoying the outdoors. And yeah, London to Brighton is definitely a great opportunity to do that. Um, in terms of places to ride around London, I mean, there's so much. I love Richmond Park. I'm in Richmond Park like pretty much a couple of
Who
times every
doesn't
week.
love Richmond Park?
Everyone loves
Richmond
Richmond.
Park is
Richmond's
it's
great.
amazing.
Um, and then it's just cool riding in the city. I mean, you know, nation's capital and London. I know people get scared of London because of the cars and things. They think the roads are too dangerous. But once you get your confidence, like I love riding around London, especially in the evenings or early morning. And because it's lockdown, streets are mostly empty, so it's really cool. Anywhere in central London, it's great to ride. Yeah,
Do you prefer riding in the city or do you prefer riding in the countryside?
that's actually a tough one. I don't know if I can choose. For me, it depends on my mood. You know, for long rides, I love getting out of the city because the roads are quieter, photos are nicer in the countryside. But for short rides and things, I love the city, and I'm trying to work on a couple of tricks and things, trying to refine my bunny hopping. And the city is great for like just loads of places to do tricks and things, jumping up curves, even though that's illegal on bikes. Um, Wheelies and stuff. You know, it just looks cool in the city. So I like the city for my urban rides and kind of urban short rides and things. The countryside, I mean, you can't beat a nice bike ride in the country, can you?
That is true. What would you say you prefer more, night rides in central London or day rides?
Ooh, I mean, I'm gonna go with night rides, just because the roads are normally really quiet. Um, yeah, night rides in the city, sure.
Where in London do you think is the best for night rides? Would you say possibly like near the London Eye, or possibly near in and around Canary Wharf, or kind of Kensington, or in central London? Where would you say is or even Hyde Park? Is Hyde Park really nice to ride around in the night?
Hyde Park, there's no lights. It's a nightmare. Um, you end up going around for hours. I get lost in Hyde Park in the night. um, I'd say the river down the river is great. And I cross over Westminster Bridge. I like to do that route and then go down South Bank. Um, any of the streets really. It's great passing the landmarks and things when the roads are empty. Yeah, I'd say kind of main bits around all the landmarks, London Eye, Westminster, all down there. It's really great.
You're part of BCN, aren't you? As you can, I mean, sadly, you guys aren't going to be able to see the hat he's wearing. He's wearing a BCN hat. How did you come to join BCN? And
So,
actually, hold
oh,
on. How did you become? How did you? What is BCN?
that's a great question. So BCN stands for the Black Cyclist Network, and they are an organisation, a club, cycling club, dedicated to promoting diversity in cycling, not just in London and the UK, but around the world. And actually, the club's membership has expanded to all the way around the world, over in the States and many other countries. So as far as my involvement with the club, in 2020, in April 2020, when I started my kind of road cycling kind of journey, I got in touch with the club. I think I saw them on social media, and I went for one of their group rides, and that was where I met all of the guys at BCN, and they really helped me kind of improve my bike handling skills, and my kind of confidence riding in a group. Because especially in British cycling culture, and actually cycling culture all around the world, when people come to join new clubs, it's often quite white male heavy. So it can be difficult for people of color joining cycling clubs. So BCN kind of gave me the kind of head start. Well, kind of the help me with my start in my cycling journey, by creating a safe environment for me to learn. So yeah, that's what BCN are dedicated to, helping people who aren't the normal types of cyclists to join clubs, just because of sometimes just their backgrounds. So yeah, they help me out with that, help me kind of learn some of the rules and the etiquette within cycling. So yeah, so if anyone looking to join a club
Are there a
or
lot of
looking,
rules?
there
Are there a
are
lot
there a
of
lot of
rules?
rules? Of course there are. Yes, yes. Just like any sport, I guess. I guess linking it back to football, you'd be frowned upon if you turned up to football training without boots or without shin pads, maybe. But like for a club, it's the same with cycling. If you turn up to a cycling club for your first ride without brakes, people won't talk to you. They'll be like, "Why are you putting everyone at risk?" It's little things like that clubs don't always tell people before they turn up. So BCN are kind of there to try and make it just more inclusive, and to make us, as I said, a safe environment where people like me could come and join a club and not feel ashamed for asking these questions and things, for learning. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a lot of rules, but clubs can choose to make it easier for people to learn.
How many cycling jerseys do you have now? Because I can see in the back of the Zoom call you've got 3 hung up. You're wearing the BCN hat. Actually, how many hats do you have? How many cycling hats do you have, and how many cycling jerseys do you have?
I've got 3 hats today. I'm sure that list will grow. In terms of jerseys, I'm kind of, I want to say, I'll say 5, but that list might grow because, cycling's an investment, and I've got lots of short sleeve jerseys ready for summer, but obviously it's winter still at the moment, and I haven't got a lot of long sleeve stuff, so that will need to grow for next year, especially as it's getting colder. We had snow this year, so might
Yeah,
even
I
need a
mean
winter
it's
bike.
been pretty crazy in terms of the weather. So I mean you kind of need to have every single type of clothing to prepare. But I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of how they're investments, how are you gonna? What's your plan for sponsoring yourself in terms of possibly buying a new bike, like you said, buying new jerseys to keep it going, buying new hats, maybe getting some clip-in shoes, that sort of thing. I mean, how are you gonna sponsor yourself, or not sponsor yourself? Because that's I don't know if that's the right word. How are you gonna? What are you gonna do within this lockdown to provide for yourself to make these sorts of purchases for cycling, basically?
Well, I've been kind of using my Instagram to try to connect with more people in the cycling community. And I got my bike from Decathlon, and Decathlon's cycling range Tribun started following me. So I'm hoping that that kind of network will kind of help me. Maybe who knows? Maybe they'll give me sponsorship one day. That's what I'm kind of secretly hoping for. Hoping they'll notice me, and see that I might have potential. But in terms of kind of investing for myself, I need a job. I'm 18, going to be 19 soon. Once I get a job, I will buy my new bike. Um, yeah, cycling, as you said, it's a kind of, it can be an expensive sport, but I guess I kind of just have to think about my goals for the future and how I can kind of help myself work towards them. Um, and yeah, and then that new bike will come. I'll start racing, hopefully, and things will hopefully fall into place.
Yeah, I mean it's because I mean seeing the amount of jerseys you have behind you and hats. I mean it racks up eventually, doesn't it? The amount
Yeah,
of next you're gonna have to have like a whole drawer in your room just full of cycling jerseys, just
I've
because you're
already got a
probably just
whole
gonna have
drawer.
it. But
Need another drawer.
with you're gonna need another drawer. Oh,
Need a
flipping.
wardrobe for that.
But yeah, exactly. But what would you say is your craziest cycling story that you have?
Ooh, craziest story. I mean, crazy in what way? Like things I experienced on the bike, or like what I've done, what I've achieved.
That's yeah. I'd say craziest thing when you were cycling. Say you were cycling around London and something happened to you, or you were cycling from London to Brighton. What was like something happened and you were just like, whoa. I mean, have you had any near death experiences while cycling on a bike around London?
Have
I
I?
mean, as you said, cars are crazy in London. Cars are crazy in London. So I mean, have you had any bad experiences in terms of that?
I don't know how this is going to go for me trying to promote cycling in London, but I've definitely had some near misses. I mean, you've got your car doors. You know, when people kind of parked on the left of the road, swing open their car doors without looking in their mirrors. You know, I've nearly been knocked over quite a few times. People doing that, carelessly opening their windows. Um, but I could sit here all day and complain about people doing crazy stuff in London. Um, yeah, buses being annoying, but I guess that it's kind of there's two sides to that. You know, there's people being careless, but then there's also cyclists. Like I've now found that I just need to always kind of be a bit prepared. I always kind of read the road ahead of me. So it's crazy, but it's
What's
riding in the city,
what's
you know.
your That's true. Yeah, exactly. Just
Got
the
to be
city in
safe.
general is crazy. But what would you say is your biggest pet peeve towards other cyclists? If you saw
Oh,
like something, if you see another cyclist doing it, you kind of just like, oh no.
right, I'm gonna go for a controversial one here. Red lights, because I'll be
What
honest.
one cyclist?
I'm not above this. I do, and I still do, and I probably will in the future. I go through some red lights, and obviously, bikes are still a road vehicle. So you know, I'm telling you, I'm admitting that I know it's not always right. You know when as I've said, I like to do night rides sometimes. Night ride is great with mates. You know when you get a junction or something, and it's the middle of the night, and there's just no one there at all, and it's a red light, and you just roll through it slowly. You know, so that is probably um, I admit that I do it myself. Now, there's a flip side to that. There's say broad daylight, and you've got a red light. You know who I find is the most guilty of doing this? Deliveroo bikes, Deliveroo
Oh,
push
like
bikes.
mopeds or
No,
cyclists?
not mopeds. Mopeds have got license plates, so they don't dare because they know they'll get caught by the police. But the bikes, pedal bikes, with the Deliveroo boxes on the back, they love to go through it, red lights. Um, and as I've said, sometimes I do it, but I do it when it's really not obvious. You know, so it's either the night or there's nothing there, like no one behind me, no one in front of me. But Deliveroo bikes seem to do it just all the time when there's clearly things there. So, yeah, so I'd say going through red lights when it's clearly just not safe to do so, or just not smart to do so. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes total sense. Basically, you just don't like delivery cyclists that much.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
pretty
saying as
much.
well?
There's a time to break the rules and there's a time not to.
Yeah, I mean, for everything,
I've
exactly.
incriminated
But
myself now.
what would you say? Yeah, you have. You've got to be careful in the
Tell me
future
you've
now.
done
They're
it.
gonna
You've done it
if
at
they
least
see
once. Come
your.
on. Have
Yeah,
you
I think
done it?
I have. I mean, everybody who's been on a bike has probably gone through a red light.
Oh,
I mean, if
you heard it
they
here
say that
first.
they haven't, they're probably lying.
Yeah. Both Josh and Zach have done it.
But yeah, exactly. My next question for you, I think, would be, what would you recommend to up and coming cyclists or people who are potentially thinking of becoming a cyclist?
Yeah, so for people looking to get into cycling, either just for recreational or transport, or for sport and for kind of getting fit, I'd say first of all, if you live in the city, but even if you don't, um, check out. I know TFL have got a new cycle safety scheme. Also check out on YouTube Global Cycling Network all of their kind of beginner tips and things for cycling. There's videos on things like fixing punches and stuff. even if you don't have a bike yet, there's things for like how to buy your first bike. You know, tips for that. That's a really good place to start. But then also thinking about if you're looking to get into competitive cycling, like I am, British cycling website, really great, and it's got all the information for everything you need to know about competitive cycling and cycling as a fitness activity. Yeah, does
Yeah,
that answer your question?
yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I think that would
Awesome.
really help some people if they really want to get on the bike and see where it can take them. But in terms of bikes, what is your dream bike? What
My
is the
dream
bike
bike.
where you go that if I can have that bike, I think my life might be complete at this point.
That question makes me so happy. Makes me dream. Um, wow, there's a lot of answers to that question as well. I mean, if I want to be really, really smart, I don't think I've seen my dream bike yet, because my dream bike is going to be a bike that I build myself with all my dream parts. um,
Yeah,
just like my dream
that's a pretty
car.
good answer.
But if I have to pick one, and I'd pick, there's a brand called Canyon who make beautiful bikes. And actually, quite a few of my mates have got this particular bike that I really like. Canyon Aero Road, very fast bike, beautiful bike. Look it up. I'm sure I've shown you it, possibly.
I think you probably have. Is it carbon fiber, that sort of thing? Well, what is it made out of?
Probably a carbon frame.
Nice.
I think they do it in aluminium as well, and I trust aluminium a bit more. So I've seen a lot of carbon frames snap and crack. Um,
That's not good.
yeah, they also do They do a cyclocross bike called the Canyon in Flight. I've definitely shown you this because this is like the bike that I'm dreaming about at the moment. So yeah, Canyon in Flight, and it's just a beautiful light bike, perfect for cyclocross because you can carry it on your shoulder. Yeah, really really neat bike. Yeah, I'm gonna throw that question back at you. What would your dream bike be?
Well, well, to be honest, I'm not really a particular cyclist, so I don't really have like a specific bike because I'm not an avid cycler like you. But in terms of the type of bike, because I know types of bikes more than I know bike brands, I think the bikes which you showed me in the cyclocross, the mix between the race bike and the mountain bike, I think that is potentially a bike which. But I mean I love mountain bikes. I
Yeah,
mean the one
can't
which
go
I have at
wrong.
the minute, you can't go wrong. They barely break. They're just very durable. I mean they're just you can do wheelies on them. It's just fun when you get a mountain bike. But obviously we've got COVID going on, but I mean, this summer, what's the trip this summer that you really want to do? I mean, it can be if you could get out of England, where would you want to go on a little trip, a cycling trip? And if you can't get out of England, where in the UK would you want to do a cycling trip?
That's a good question. In terms of UK, I want to do the whole of UK on my bike. I want to visit so many places in the UK, and I think that's going to be my kind of aim for my kind of next few years of my life. Just travel the whole of the UK. Once I get my driving license, put my bike in the boot, and just go meet friends and travel with my bike. In terms of out of England and out of the UK, um, I learned to ride a bike in France, right in the centre of the French countryside, a little town called Saint Bonnet de Fort. I think I was 5 or 6 when I learnt to ride. So I really want to take my bike there and just ride those French roads. They're beautiful for cycling, and the Tour de France passes through there most years. So yeah, France and the countryside follow the some of the Tour de France route.
That's great. I mean, those are some great options just some great options to cycle in general. But in the future, potentially down the line, would you go even further internationally for cycling? Is there a particular exotic country that you would really want to cycle? Like it's possibly your South Americas, Central America, even Asia. Would you cycle in Asia?
Yeah. So, and I'm sure I've sent you a YouTube video of this. There's this cycling vlogger called Francis Cade. He's really popular in the cycling community here in London. He lives really close to me actually, out out in West London. And recently, him and some of his mates did a bikepacking tour of Vietnam. And ever since I saw that series of videos, Vietnam's on my bikepacking list. It's just beautiful and tropical, and yeah, cyclocross bikes are made for Vietnam. Kind of tough terrain, but just beautiful. So yeah, anywhere in Asia really. I'm looking at locations on the map to add to my list as well, but Vietnam's definitely up there at the moment.
That is a good option. I mean, Vietnam, the countryside just looks beautiful. Yeah, I mean, the only downside is that you can't speak the language, but I mean, you can work your way around that.
Yeah,
But in terms of Central America and South America, is there a particular country that you would possibly cycle if you could? Maybe Peru or Brazil, maybe Argentina. Because I'm the landscape in those three countries is just phenomenal. So I mean, is there a potential for you to go cycling there?
I know it's not one of the ones that you just mentioned, but Ecuador. There's a lot of professional cyclists
Ah,
from Ecuador.
good,
Yeah,
good
but I
man.
guess all of around kind of South America's got landscapes quite similar, like beautiful mountains, beautiful roads. And for me, I fancy myself a climber on the bike. I love going up hills and things. So I guess anywhere in South America, but Ecuador definitely on my list because so many talented cyclists come from there. It'd be great to see kind of the roads that they've started on. And I've heard good things about Ecuador. Apparently they're really good at paving their roads. Apparently they're some really soft roads. Um, which, I mean, for that part of the world, it's pretty cool to hear that their roads are really advanced. So yeah, it'd be great to get a bike and just travel South America.
I think the last question I'm going to ask you is, what would you say to people? What piece of advice would you give to people to stay healthy in this lockdown, or this quarantine, or whatever you want to call it? What piece of advice would you give them to stay healthy?
Um, I'd say whatever means you have, get outside and go do something that you like, something that will keep you healthy, but also, if you can, socializing with either the people in your household or friends. If you I know for sport you're only allowed to meet up with one person, so if you can find someone to be your kind of sports buddy, yeah. And if you have a bike, get out and enjoy your bike. If you don't have a bike though, then any other means of fitness, and getting outside, it's really great for the brain and for the rest of the body. Go outside.
Would you say keeping a routine of that as well is really important?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, you can't just go out once and expect to get fit. You got to make a routine of it. As I'm slowly finding out with the bike, the more I take a break from riding, my legs kind of seize up. So you got to get out and make a routine, get used to it, and enjoy it.
That's perfect. I think that's a great way to end this little